Welcome, folks, to a video that is titled Dana Simmons Leaves the Coalition and GGZII, and you're probably thinking, what? Let me explain. So, Dana Simmons has announced today that he's wrapped up and he's finished with the coalition. He's moving on to a new project or a new idea or whatever it may be. There's no specifics, but he's moved on. He thinks the team's in good hands. Gears War's in a good spot and we're moving on. Right now, that is Rod Ferguson, Node, Dana, and TC Octus have all left the studio, which I would call the core launch. And personally, on a personal note, I'd like to thank again Node, because I've spoke personally with him, and I personally think he had really good ideas and he did really well for Gears. I think he was misunderstood, and that's by the by. I don't want to drag him up. I know he likes to remain out of the spotlight, and I respect that. And Dana Simmons has been in the spotlight. What a great transition there. He's been in the spotlight on the dev streams, which I've covered for a year and a half. And I personally have spoke to him. I think he's a great bloke. I think he's helped me out personally, both in-game and out of game. There are some stuff which I won't mention, but he's been very helpful. And I'm grateful for that. And I hope he goes on to have a wonderful future projects and continues his long career in the game industry. There's no bad blood. And I don't really have any bad blood with any of them. I thought Octus TC, yeah, they had a hell of a rough launch and they probably could have communicated a little bit more. But when it all push came to shove, he really liked Gears. He was on there, he was in the dev streams, he was inviting me into the dev streams, we were playing, he was answering questions back and forth. I've never had any experience with Rod Ferguson, but, you know, he's like the guy that made Gears 1, so, you know, fucking gotta respect him, haven't you? So, you know, I like that bunch of people. I don't know if I agree with the direction that they went or whatever it may be. I don't have a clue. I'm not even going to go into that. But as human beings, I think they're top blokes and I wish them all the best. Last night, if you're wondering why it says GGZII quit Gears, I last night had not a realization, but I had a moment where basically what was happening was I've done my Road to Masters, I've recorded it all, and I'm sat here editing it, and it's clocking up the hours, and I'm picking out some footage, and I'm going to, you know, sift through it all. And it's another 400-hour work month. I've done 239 hours, I think, now on Twitch. Easily that again on 31 monthly videos, plus member videos, and then there's all the time I spend on social media and chatting in the Discord. It's a hell of a lot of time to sink into Gears for 1.5 years straight. For it's an unpaid job, you know. It's supported occasionally through the memberships and the Twitch subs, and I love you all for supporting me. It's been absolutely fantastic, and this isn't me saying, oh, I'm stepping away from Gears forever. But typically when I uninstall a game, it's for a reason. So there are a few people on Twitter that like uninstall the game out of absolute rage and they'll be back tomorrow. And when I tweeted that I'm sort of closing it off for a while, people were like, you'll be back tomorrow. But it's a bit different. I've sunk a hell of a lot of time into the game. And on a personal note, everyone that I was in contact with at the studio is no longer there, which in a way, although it shouldn't, because I didn't really have too much direct contact, in a way, it was nice to know the team. I felt a bit connected to the team in a way, and it was nice to know that if I could, and I did create a video and push came to shove, if I really wanted to, I could probably get someone at TC to have a look at it. The other few developers that I've spoke to haven't been that great with me, and I don't feel that connected to the team, and there are a few changes which I guess I can discuss because, you know, all those people that we've just mentioned aren't really there, so I'm not going to offend anyone. I'm a bit lost with the whole new developer that's come in. One thing that initially threw me was somebody said to her basically, hey, you've come from Anthem, you were like a character creation, like a art designer. How come you've come to Gears? What sort of things are you going to bring to the table? And she started blocking people, and I thought it's a very sort of odd start. And then her entire feed has just been basically anime retweets, and it's also been heavy politics, and just like there's a quote that she, either it was a tweet or a retweet, and it sticks in my mind because she tweeted out, I live in a lefty bubble, not because I choose to live in a safe space, but because I've heard all the other opinions, and this is how I want to live my life. And I feel like, you know, I just feel like when I'm following a Gears dev and I want to see the direction of the game it's going, and I want to just follow the process, and I'm seeing things like that, like I'm a lefty dev in a lefty bubble, whether you agree with the left or the right or whatever, I don't hold a strong politics opinion. I just feel like what is going on there? You know, Dana Simmons, there was no tweets from her saying, hey, thanks, Dana. I'm sure she said it privately, but there was no public tweets like, hey, thanks, Dana, great work. Well, not at the current time. Maybe she was asleep, I'll cut her some slack. Maybe I'm wrong. She could be a superb dev, and I hope she is. And I don't mean to bash this developer. I'm just saying how it makes me feel. I'm like, this I know people will laugh and say strong launch team. The game was awful at launch, but that doesn't mean that the team weren't strong, and I feel like there was a strong launch team, and that sort of changed hands. Could be for the better, but now we're sort of getting into a different team that's going to be making Gears, and it's a bit of a strange one. Like, what's probably going to have to happen is I'm going to have to sort of re-network myself with all of these people and the new people, and then what do I do? Do I make a balance video? Do I not make a balance video? I'm kind of like not sure where to go. I feel like I've had my little moment, like my enjoyable little moment in the spotlight for 5 minutes, and I've enjoyed speaking about the game. And then it comes down to, like, do I enjoy playing it? And for the past few months, I've actually really enjoyed playing Gears. Really enjoyed playing Gears. But every game, and it's a great, like, when you're doing like 400 hours for the game, and then when you play it, it's also like every time you play, you get put up against a 4-man stack, or you get a really uneven team, or it's a stomp. There's no in between. It's my experience when I play the game daily is literally like, you're gonna stomp the team, you're gonna get stomped by a 4-man stack, or everyone's gonna be on the wrong ping, and no kill is gonna be enjoyable, either being killed or getting killed. And last night I played for, you know, I got my masters with my controller, with my road to masters, which I've done, I've recorded. I'm going to have a chat about that. And I was really enjoying the tuning, and I was really enjoying the game. And then there was like this week of just every game, every single player was 150 ping. Every time it was a stack, every time they would talk crap. There was times where people would come in the stream and talk crap. There were times where prominent content creators would have people on their stream talking shit about me. And I had to just sit back and just think, do I even like want to partake in this? And currently it's no. So I uninstalled the game. I'll tell you what actually made me uninstall was the whole game was 150 ping for about 7 hours straight. Then I went up top on Clock Tower. This duo that I'd been playing against all night went up top, and they both stood at max range, just in that perfect 2-shot down range. And I just went down basically in one shot because they both shot at the same time. It was massively laggy. I just wasn't having a good time, and I was like, I felt like I was about to go, all these fucking people holding hands, this shit matchmaking, this shit connection. And then I thought to myself, what's the point of me saying all this if it's not going to change? So I just didn't say it. I just thought, what's the point of me spending an evening moaning I know people like to watch me on Twitch. There's like 20 or 30 people that like to tune in, and thank you. And I know you like to watch me get mad at like Gears, but that's not really what I'm about. I don't play video games to get mad. Like, I never have done. I never did like rage charges, or I never did like that. I actually play games to enjoy them. And I understand that when I stream other content, it might not be as enjoyable because I'm just kind of sat chatting to you, and I'm kind of quiet because I'm just genuinely enjoying the game and I'm not amped up and moaning. And I know that might not be as interesting, but that's more a reflection of what I am than when I play Gears. So I'm not done with Gears. If for some reason we say hit some goals and people say, hey, I'd love to see you return to Gears for a week and we can play some Gears or whatever, maybe I'll come back and be a bit selfish and say, hey, if we hit some sub goals or we reach a goal, I'll play Gears for the evening or the week or whatever, you know. But currently at the moment, what Gears is doing for me is not much. It's taking up all of my time. It's getting me annoyed. And that's not a good thing, right? So I've got to find a balance, whether that, and I'm just being truthful with you, whether that is I will set a goal. Hey, if I get 10 subs this week, I'll play Gears for a few hours on a Wednesday and Thursday night, and then I'll post it to YouTube or I'll stream it on YouTube. That's something I could consider. But right now, because it is my free time and it is something I try to do for fun, if I'm not actually enjoying it, there's no point me doing it. So yeah, I uninstalled the game, and it was just a culmination of things that had been grating on me for the longest time, and I uninstalled it because I just want a break. I'll probably come back in Operation 6, which isn't that far around the corner. Maybe I take Operation 6 off and have a re-peak at Operation 7. Or maybe there's a big update or there's a piece of news that sparks my interest and I'll have a revisit. I'm not saying that I've quit Gears, because never say never. But I'm hoping, what I'm really hoping is I've shown you enough as a person that I made Gears content for like a year and a half. Different videos, serious, funny, analytical, you know, jovial, blah blah blah. And I've done my streams, I've been very personal, I've also been very like character, sort of I'm over the top, I'm the best at Gears. I'm hoping I've shown you a bit there that, hey, I like this guy, maybe I should watch some other games he's gonna play, or maybe I'll watch his other content. Because last time I quit Gears in Gears 3, I quit for like 10 years. I was just a gamer tag, and my channel never had a face. There was never a face to it. There was never like a voice or a personality. It was just gameplay, and I then just sort of ditched the channel because I was like, hey, I'm done with it, I'm out. And I really regret not building a community and taking that community towards the other games I ended up playing. So this time I'm trying to build a community that like me, they like GGZ. They don't just like Gears of War. They like me as a content creator, and they will watch me play other stuff. That doesn't mean, again, I'm never playing Gears, so you can stay subscribed. I'm sure there'll be Gears videos, but it's not always going to be Gears. And there's been nothing major happened. It's got nothing to do with the tuning. I actually like the tuning. I also think the game has improved. And I also, hand on heart, dead serious with you, I do think Gears 5 is a good game. People say that Gears 5 is complete trash, and it's not. It's a Game Pass game that costs $1 for 3 months, and there's a ton of content in there. There is enough maps, there is enough game modes, there is enough players. I know people like to bash Gears 5 and say there's no player base, but there is enough players, because every single time I've queued, regardless of what day it is or what time zone, I always find a match, and that's not a dead game to me. If you can consistently find matches, it's not dead. So that's kind of it. And in this little dev stream here, which I've actually, if I change scene, I've actually sat and I've flicked through it and I've watched it just to not waste your time. Dana basically for the first 20 minutes kind of laughs at Sean's camera. They then get asked about the netcode and the gib range, and Dana basically says, to summarize, he says, we're happy with the gib range and we can't change the netcode. It's just basically unfeasible. And I'm, again, honest, hand on heart, I'm completely fine with those answers. People may say, what, you hate the gib range? Honestly, if you've been tuning in live recent, you'll have noticed that I don't really mention the gib range all that much. It's a problem to do with netcode. If I could actually judge where the person is consistently and where I am, I'd just get used to the gib range. It wouldn't matter if it was big or small. Also, they've got the problem that if they lowered the gib range, you wouldn't be able to run at a rifler and then come out of the road you run and gib them. You'd have to get even closer, and by the time you'd got closer, you'd be downed. And also, all of the maps and all of the covers are designed around the launch gib range, which means that now that it's changed, there are even some broken covers. I've noticed there's some weird back A spots that hit walls, and if they were to make it even smaller, they'd have to rebalance the whole game, and I don't think it's worth it. I don't think TC should spend more time balancing the game. I think the tuning right now is relatively okay. If I was to make a change, I'd change the Lancer clip size to be like 35 instead of 40. And, you know, maybe move some weapons around. I think that could be the way that they rejig the game up and freshen it up in a quick and easy way. For example, Foundation, where the shocks are, I don't think the defending team should also get shocks because they can zone off the ramps. I think that the shock grenade should be sort of on both front ramps. So you can, if you're going to attack the hill, you can pick up a shock on your way in and lob it in there and zone off an area, which forces them to roll out into the open. And I'd also change King of the Hill to be Blitz, in the sense that you have to be inside of the hill to be capturing. I think it would make it way more hectic and fun. And you can also rejig some weapons around, so that's the route I'd go down. I honestly think there's a problem at TC where, and again, I don't want to name drop Node, but you know, he said it in my public Twitch chat, so I'm sure he's not too concerned about me saying it, that basically someone said, oh, why is River in the game? It's awful. And Node said, well, the community absolutely overwhelmingly asked for it. And he's right. The community all did vote for River, and some of these maps like just don't function because they're built for Gears 2 gameplay, not Gears 5. And that's partly where I think TC ended up going wrong. TC needed a leader to stand up and say, we're doing this, and fuck you, this is what we're doing. It's kind of like the way Cliffy B said, no, stopping power is staying. In fact, the shotgun's getting even more poke, and you're going to have to live with it. I didn't like that, but I can respect that the vision was created. Gears 2 was Gears 2. It was very different to Gears 1. Going on to this, he goes on to mention that Operation 6 is looking, long pause, good. When Sean was asked about the gib range, which is the new community manager, Sean replied with, I don't play the game. I'm going to have to start playing the game before I can answer. And I don't want to shit on the guy. He's brand new. He's an OG. He casted tournaments. So when people throw that at him, he's not some brand new player to the game. He knows Gears. He played Gears 2, I believe. 3. He casted Gears UE. He's just not fully up to speed. And I can sit here and I can say the community manager should have been somebody that's well into the game. But that's not my decision, is it? It's nothing to do with me. You know, I'm not going to stress about that. Would it have been perfect if it had been currently well up to date with how Gears 5 works? Yes, but at the same time, a community manager isn't the balance guy. They might give maybe some ideas and pass it on, but they're not the balance guy. It seemed like a swap deal. I don't know if it was. It seemed like Octus swapped with Sean because so if you didn't know, Sean worked at the company Octus has now gone to. So to me, it seems like a bit of a swap deal. Don't know if that's true or not. It's just my speculation. So probably the community manager job that they put out in the open was was never really going anywhere other than that swap once it probably appeared. That's speculation. They go on to talk about that no future content, can't really say too much. And they have a sort of laugh about some things. They mention that, you know, Sean mentions that one of the new bugs that they've now looked into and they've got it written down is when you get shot and you're revving your chainsaw or you're like charging a Lancer GL, you will immediately get stunned, and that's a bug that shouldn't happen. And it's kind of like, you know, that's been in the game since day one, and it's like a year and a half and it's still going on, and then now just penciling it in. So a lot of what goes on at TC, I honestly don't understand at all. I really don't. There's a ton of unbelievably baffling decisions that leave me like, you know, I don't get it. Even in this podcast, if I'm being honest, and you know, I rate Dana and I don't know anything about this new bloke. Some of the answers that came out, I was like, with all the most respect I can possibly give, is these people don't play Gears. That's honestly how it came across. I think one of the questions was kind of like, what do you think of Gridlock? Because somebody said Gridlock's awful for King of the Hill, which it is. And they kind of replied saying, I absolutely love Gridlock. It's a super close map that's really fun fights. And that's the exact opposite of what Gridlock is. And I think that's kind of where we've sort of gone wrong. I feel like, listen, you need to hire PR people and you need to hire good faces, friendly, no dodgy backstories, no bad history. They need to be a clean face of the company. I get it, and that's who you're hiring. You may be hiring, if I'm being completely honest, a few check boxes. I'm just going to be completely frank with you. I've looked into some of the people that are at TC and hired, and honestly, some of them I'm kind of like, I don't get it. I'm not knocking them. I'm not bashing anyone. From the outside, as a completely uninformed content creator that tries to be honest to his viewers and give fair criticism and praise when it's due, some people I'm just like, I don't even understand it. There's surely got to be somebody different. But ultimately, and again, listen to me, ultimately, it doesn't really matter, like, sort of who they hire. That's not why Gears 5 is the way it is. And again, I don't think Gears 5 is absolutely awful. People like to absolutely shit on Gears 5, and they like to make out that it's this awfully ran company with awful people, and it's an awful non-fun experience. And from playing it for a year and a half, I've enjoyed myself. The vast majority of experience has been positive. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bloody done it. That's the true litmus test. Why would I continually play a game for 1.5 years that I'd left for 10 years if I wasn't enjoying it? There are some people out there in the Gears community that Smallsy from my chat likes to call mentally deranged. That's his words, not mine. And he says that there's a lot of people in the Gears community that play no other games, and all they do is they play Gears, and they can't uninstall it, they can't play any other games, and they just play Gears all day, and even if they hate it, they continue to play it. That's not me. I only play games I enjoy, and for basically 1.5 years, I've actually really enjoyed Gears 5. There's been moments that's been super frustrating. Absolutely has been super frustrating. And there's been moments that have been really good, and if I was to weigh them all up, I've enjoyed myself much more than I haven't. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it. There's really not that much revealed in this. There's some you know, Chrome steel skins might be coming back, but Chrome characters from previous weeks will be coming back. They announced it 2 weeks ago. There's some baffling decisions again that I'll say sort of contributed to me uninstalling. Number one of the main reasons we purchased the game was 3-player co-op. It really doesn't function as a 3-player co-op game, weirdly, it just doesn't. Secondly, a map maker. That was one of the things, as somebody that loves Gears and has always liked Halo Forge, the idea of making maps was one of the key things that made me purchase the game, and that's not in the game. And when asked about it many dev streams ago, I can remember it. It was actually a dev stream on Panahu. That's my Neo memory kicking in. Somebody asked about this, and they said that yeah, the community didn't want it, so we scrapped it. Nobody was ever asked about this. What basically happened is the game was so broken at launch, they went, shit, we can't even do a map maker now, it's so broken. And then to top it off, it was kind of going to be based around tiles, and maps were based around tiles and solar escapes. And what ended up happening was nobody liked the tile maps because they were poor and they weren't coming out quick enough. They then somehow misconstrued that again, because I don't think there's somebody at the team giving clear enough information there. TC somehow misconstrued that people not enjoying tile maps and not enjoying the way they were coming out means that tiles are bad. No, tiles were actually really good. The reason tiles were good was you could chop and change your map very quickly and create a new map that was similar but fresh enough, and you could chuck those out very quickly, and also you could use those tiles to then create escapes. There are no new escapes planned because there are no new tiles, and I really liked doing the weekly escapes. It was something I actively liked grouping up with chat and doing some masters escapes, and that's no longer a thing. That contributed to me uninstalling. With no map maker, the reason we didn't like the tiles was because the tiles ended up taking just as long to make as an actual map. So I would rather have a brand new actual map than a rejigged tile. But what tiles should have been are you create a map, and even if it takes the same amount of time, like you could make Fuel Depot in 6 months, or you could make the free-for-all map with tiles, but what should have happened is each week, or every Friday, the map gets spun around and the tiles get rejigged, and it might be a bit janky and it might not be perfectly balanced, but each Friday it gets rejigged and out comes a new map, and that would have sort of re-energized. It might have been, wow, that layout sucked that week, I'm not voting it, or wow, that was a really cool layout. But the problem was they weren't coming out quick enough, the updates weren't coming out quick enough, and ended up, what was the point of tiles if you didn't play escape? So people said, oh, the tiles suck, so they stopped. So that kind of killed off escape. But escape's a huge part of Gears. So then now we're then kind of remaking Gears 4 maps and then remaking Gears 2 maps, and it just... there was one evening I remember that contributed to it, to the uninstall, that when I played I'll just put some background footage here. When I actually played I think it was like a Wednesday evening. I'll just refresh here. When I actually played on a Wednesday evening, every single map was Gears 4. And I was sat there like, why the hell am I playing this game? I could just be playing Gears 4 if I wanted to play Gears 4 maps for the entire evening. And it just got... It just got a bit ridiculous. That they're bringing out, like, they scrapped tiles, even though I think tiles are pretty cool. And they just went down that route, and this whole dev stream is, again, a complete load of waffle about... Because let's be honest, right, and again, I'm not shitting on the guy. Dana doesn't play the game, so he can't, on a personal level, answer any high-level gameplay, because he's not high-level, he's never been high-level, and that's no disrespect. You don't have to be high-level. He's a bloody grown man with excellent education and history and experience in video game design. He doesn't also need to be a professional player. You don't need to be a professional player to be a balanced person. And please know, to the pros, just because you are a pro, it doesn't mean you know anything about balance. You can be a fantastic balance person and be awful, and you can also be an awful balanced person and be fantastic at a game. So the two aren't connected in any way. It's kind of like you don't have to be a footballer to be a manager. Like, Jose Mourinho never played football. Jose Mourinho has won Champions Leagues, Prems, yada yada yada. It's kind of like that, right? So the idea of, you know, always listening to pros is a bit weird. Like, when I feel like the pros don't do anything for the game, but that's another topic. The point is, it's just come to an impasse, or a pass, whatever you want to call it, for me with Gears, that it's on, what it feels like is Gears 5 listening to this stream is like it's on maintenance mode. Like, there's no big balance changes coming. There's no huge content. There might be the odd map and the odd event and the odd skin, but there's no like massive thing happening. The lead communication guy's gone, the former lead dev's gone, Rod Ferguson's gone, and it's kind of like there's a new team that are kind of like taking over the ropes, putting it on maintenance mode, and sort of like just doing a bit of content. And I get that vibe. I really do get that vibe. You see, we haven't even mentioned the ranking system, which was probably the largest contributing factor to the reason I quit the game. It's 1.5 years almost since the game launched, and I'm still able to play as a Masters players with bronze, silver, gold, whatever it is, onyx, diamond. You can play with every single rank because there is no ranked restrictions. If I want to bring a bronze guy into the game, I can do. And also, what's very funny, if you ever want to wonder why there are so many bad players in the game, is not only does the game really, really reward you for a win and not really punish you for a loss, so everyone naturally climbs very fast, the community don't want to grind, so your position each season is kind of like, if you were Masters last season, within a few games you're going to get it again, even though for any big game it takes months and months or weeks to earn your rank back, and it's kind of like a season-long grind. But because Gears people seem to be fundamentally trapped in 2006 and can't comprehend what a modern ranking system or ladder is, they seem to think that the rank should just be handed to you. And as a result, you can play +2, -2, meaning a silver player can play onyx and gold. So, based off that knowledge, you can be a gold player and you can beat bronzes. Yes, you can be a gold player and play a team of bronzes and get promoted to onyx. You can then beat onyx and play teams of silvers and be promoted to diamond. Then, when you're in diamond, you can play only gold level players. You can play only gold level players and then be put into masters. And think about this, those gold level players that they are playing, so these diamonds that are playing gold level players, think about this, the diamonds that are playing gold level players to get put into masters are playing golds that beat bronzes to get there. So a masters player can be in masters because they beat golds that only just beat bronzes. It's an absolute mindfuck when you think about how bad the ranking system is. Then you've got ping, then you've got the fact that you can stack up. It's a travesty that a year and a half later, they don't respect the ladder at all. Nobody's position on the ladder is respected. It's a piss easy ladder to climb through. It's a completely broken ladder to climb through. If you play it solo queue and you get unlucky with your matches, you might end up getting to masters by beating actual diamond stacks as a solo player, or you might get a bunch of morons and you'll get promoted. if you play enough of the ranking system, because it doesn't really punish you a lot, you'll just end up climbing. So it's a case of how much you play / what RNG pot you got given, and that's why it's an absolute fiesta of a game. I like the idea of becoming high level at Gears and sweating, but the problem is, and people will say, oh, this GGZII guy bitches at stacks on stream all the time. And, you know, I get it. I don't mean to be a dick and bitch at you if you're in a stack. The problem actually isn't you in a stack. You're not the problem. I should clarify that. The actual problem is that you can beat stacks with good teammates and pausing and waiting to break, but because people have got to high elo without learning these basic things like how to break, where to flank, how to, you know, re-engage and get a power weapon control to break, because they haven't learned these basic things because the ranking system holds their hands and promotes them, when they actually get put up against a good team, they get molly-what fucking banged. They don't break properly. Everyone's running into the hill head on, which compounds the stack issue. So yes, Gears of War has a stacking issue. It does have a stacking issue. But the main actual problem is that the people in the community haven't learned how to deal with stacks, because the ranking system isn't giving them consistent matches and elo rating that is making them improve. If you actually thought to yourself, hey, I keep going down the ranks because I'm getting lanced by these stacks, if you were serious about climbing, your brain would go, right, I actually need to know how to beat stacks. Like, what do I do? How do I cross? Listen, you might not win every game because a stack has communication, etc., but it would be a damn lot better than losing 180 to 1 and getting humped because you haven't put the time in to learn it and the game hasn't taught you that. You know, it's like League of Legends. When you're in Diamond League, you start to learn, right, I better start fighting around dragons and warding properly, or I'm going to get my ass blasted and ganked. In Bronze League, you can get away with playing bad. Now, if you could get away with playing bad and end up in Masters in League of Legends by playing badly in Bronze, then when you actually come up against a full proper Masters team, you get smashed, and then the actual Masters that are stuck with that Bronze dude will get really frustrated. And that's what's happened. No one seems to be talking about the ranking system. No one's taking it seriously. I've done a full video on it that 2 developers said was really, really good. Absolutely zero feedback has been implemented. Not sat here saying, listen to me, I'm a god of Gears, listen to me. No, I'm saying there's some obvious shit there in that video and obvious shit on the forums and Twitter and Discord that they're not doing. And it feels like we're going into maintenance mode, which is a term of like Blizzard use, like, hey, we're still going to make stuff, but we're not really kind of spending money. It's like it's going into maintenance mode, but it ain't even the finished product. That's what it feels like. That's why I uninstalled it, because of all of those things. It wasn't some absolute snap. It might have looked like a snap rage moment, but that's why I uninstalled it. And I'm sure I'll be back and play a little bit and have some fun. But that's why I've, quote, gone. I'm not going anywhere. I'll still be making content. I've got tons of videos planned. Got tons of content planned. But that's why I wanted to explain that. Because I've sat and I've listened through this dev stream. And there's just nothing. That's why I stopped covering them. Because, again, this guy here doesn't play Gears. And he's brand new to the job. So he's not going to have a cat in hell's chance, is he? In fairness to the lad. He's not. He's got no chance. Like, he's getting caught up to speed with a brand new job, which I'm sure is super, super stressing and hectic. He's also trying to get back into the game. And again, listen to me. I'm not bashing the guy. I'm saying respect to the guy. He's getting... He could have just said, yeah, I'm the community manager. I don't play the game. Shut up. He's also getting back into the game. And he's already on camera and he's doing his thing. It's great. I'm not knocking this bloke. I want that to be clear. But at the current time, can't really answer any gameplay questions because he doesn't play the game. Dana doesn't really play the game when he's leaving. So we're not going to get any gameplay questions. Can't really talk about future content. And we're not really doing any more balance. So what's the point of these dev streams? I have no idea. Maybe the dev streams are to talk about mechanics and how things work, kind of like how Node used to do. but we don't even hear from the new dev. We don't know who she is or what she does. So, you know, I'm just been proper honest with you boys in chat, you know, and on YouTube. You know, that's the way it is. That's the way it is. And I hope you understand where I'm coming from. I really do. I don't want you to leave the channel. I don't want you to go anywhere. I hope you still like me as a person and you enjoy my content and you're going to watch me play Halo 4 campaign or play Darkest Dungeon or play League of Legends or StarCraft or play some Gears UE or play some Gears 5. I don't know what I'm going to play, you know, or make me watch some PC videos. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I hope I've shown you enough that you're going to continue to watch. But it's just a very, very strange vibe. And with it being such a strange vibe and all of those things that I've just explained, I just wanted to just like uninstall and just like step back and just be like, I was like this, I was like, whoa man, like that's been such a long grind for like a year and a half that I need a bit of time, whether it's even a week, whether it's a month, whether it's 2 months, I don't know. But I really hope that explains things. Thanks for listening. As always, I really do appreciate if you could leave a comment and a like. Probably on screen now is a picture of a video or something if you want to click an annotation. If you want to do me a solid, there's some links in the description. Join the Discord so we can have a chat. I've got like Amazon affiliate links. I've got like, yeah, the Twitter account, the Twitch account. I don't know what's on there. It's like in the description. But yeah, like that's kind of how it is. It feels like it felt like the dev stream just to end. It felt super light-hearted and a super light-hearted, lovely chat about a game that's. It felt like they were talking about like StarCraft, like, hey, we've had this glorious game. It's been going for like 10 years. It's been brilliant, but it's time to go on maintenance mode and wind it down. We love you all. It's been brilliant. Peace out. When the game's still pretty fucking broken. And I didn't want to be like this lunatic that keeps shouting, guys, fix the netcode, fix the gib range, guys, change the shot. Like, I've been past that for a while. You'll have noticed there hasn't been much balance on my channel or dev streams. I've passed that. So yeah, there it is.